Boudica is known as the ancient British queen and the Queen of Victory, with an epic yet tragic legend behind her. But for some reason, when we first summon her in the game, what we get is a woman wearing what looks like underwear and a uniform that only covers her chest and shoulders. Yeah, thankfully, her second and third Ascension designs are much more modest and fitting for her reputation as a queen. I get it. When it comes to design, what's good or bad is totally subjective. Everyone has their preferences, but let's be real. Almost everyone who sees Boudica's first Ascension design probably feels either awkward or confused. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. I've been playing this game since the NA server launched, and this is the first time I felt like diving into this topic. Of course, with so many characters in the game, I'm only going to talk about a few designs here, but I think you'll agree with me that some of these are just not it. Eric Bloodaxe. Yep, who here even remembers that this guy exists? His design is so generic that I've genuinely forgotten he's in the game at times. He doesn't have the intimidating vibe you'd expect from a berserker, and there's nothing particularly standout about him at all. And you know what makes it worse? His ascensions are painfully uninspired. Take a closer look at each one, I dare you. In his first ascension, he's just your run-of-the-mill berserker dude. For the second? Oh wow, they added a strip of cloth hanging on his back. That's it. And the third? He slaps on a shield, one shoulder patch, and finally grows some horns, which honestly should have been there from the start if you're going for a proper berserker aesthetic. If you had to sum up the word boring in a single character design, Eric Bloodaxe would be the prime example. If you're thinking the previous examples were bad because they're low rarity servants, well, not exactly. Next up, we've got a 4-star berserker, an actual gold servant, Galatea. Now to be fair, the real problem here is just her first ascension. Like seriously, what is up with those pants? Why does she have pants like that? I get it. She's supposed to be some kind of sculpture, so maybe it's not actually pants, but some sort of armor that just looks like oversized 90s baggy pants. But still, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It becomes hilariously awkward because her whole look feels so off in this first stage. It gets even funnier when you think about Ryo's manga design for her, where Galatea literally just has a giant box for her lower half. Thankfully, her second and third ascensions are straight up awesome. I mean, come on, who doesn't love the combination of a badass woman and mecha elements? Next up, Ushiwaka Maru. She's been a staple in my roster for the longest time because of her gameplay, but man, her design is just so off-putting. I can't take her seriously when I look at it. Like, what's going on with that armor? The outfit feels so incomplete, and the panties? They straight up look like actual underwear. It's such a letdown, especially since she's one of my absolute favorites when it comes to personality. Before she got her idol costume, I always stuck with her third ascension, because honestly it's the only one that looks proper and cool. But her first and second ascensions? They're just bad. Not only do they look impractical, but the whole barely wearing anything vibe is way too overdone. When she got her design update in Melty Blood type Lumina, where they gave her a bodysuit under the armor, I was so relieved. Turns out, I wasn't the only one who thought she was way too overexposed. Next up is Tezcatlipoca. This guy is undeniably cool, especially when you look at him in the trailers. But in-game, particularly in his illustrations, he comes off as a bit off. It's like the artist ran out of ink halfway through, but just kept going, which makes his artwork feel kind of odd. Some fans even took it upon themselves to tweak Tez's illustration by enhancing the colors a bit. And you know what? It actually looks so much better. Now, the third ascension. Oh boy, that one stirred up quite the reaction. Honestly, a lot of people dislike Tez's third ascension. The proportions in the artwork feel really off. And to be fair, I'm not a fan of the design either. What's even more frustrating is knowing that the original concept for his third ascension was a giant skeleton robot, like the one from his Noble Phantasm. That initial idea got scrapped, which is such a shame because it would have been incredible. Next up is a character who was super hyped when she first appeared, but got overshadowed by her questionable design, Semiramis. She's insanely popular, especially among those who watched Fate Apocrypha and saw her in action. But when it comes to her design in FGO, let's just say it feels overdone, like too much. The main culprit? Her hairstyle. In Apocrypha, she had this long, straight hair that perfectly matched her elegant and commanding aura. That look was part of why fans fell for her. But in FGO, her second and third ascensions give her twin tails out of nowhere. And not just regular twin tails, they're these massive, rolled-up things stuck to her head. It's weirdly elaborate and totally clashes with her vibe. Twin tails usually suit playful or cheerful characters, like Bradamante. You know what I mean if you've seen the internet. But for someone with Semiramis's refined and serious presence, long, flowing hair just fits her so much better. The twin tail design feels so off that fans have joked they look like body bags for her victims. Honestly, her outfit is stunning and fits her role as the Queen of Assyria perfectly. It's just the over-the-top hairstyle that makes everything feel a bit off. A shame, really. Speaking of hairstyles, it reminds me of Edison. Seriously, why was he designed as a lion? I get that there might be some lore behind it, but why an animal? When hundreds of other heroic spirits have unique and striking designs that fit their legends, Edison ends up with a lion head and a bright blue and red tight outfit. And then there's his third ascension, where he suddenly sprouts wings that don't match his look at all. Like, what's going on here? I just don't get it. Why make him a lion? Why not stick with a human design? It feels so disconnected from his actual legend. Alright, enough about Edison. Let's switch gears to Mama Raiko. Now, this one's definitely divisive. Some people absolutely love her, while others, not so much. Honestly, I don't have a problem with her outfit design. A bodysuit on a curvy woman with some strategically placed armor? Sure, why not? That works for me. But here's the thing. The proportions. Oh man, Raita's art style makes it look so off. Her design feels like the artist took an extremely skinny figure and just slapped on some oversized balloons for her chest. Don't get me wrong, I've got no issue with big assets if you know what I mean, but these don't look natural, especially compared to other servants. Even Lip's unique proportions somehow feel more believable. And it gets even weirder when you see her swimsuit form. It's like, the more you look at it, the harder it is to take seriously. And speaking of not being able to take things seriously, let's talk about Mephistopheles. Seriously, what's up with his design? Why does he look like this? If you don't consider his lore, he just looks bad. Even the way he stands and the pose in his portrait feels off and unpleasant to look at. There's not a single aspect of Mephi's design that I like, at all. Back in the day, I'd spend time staring at servants I wasn't a fan of, just to compare and figure out who I should prioritize for skills and ascensions. But when it came to Mephi, I couldn't muster any affection for his design. Maybe the artist really leaned into showcasing his chaotic nature, but all those random colors and that bizarre outfit just made me want to avoid using him. Ironically, it wasn't until the formal Dresscraft Essence came out that I realized how normal Mephi could actually look. That one CE alone managed to leave a better impression on me than his entire in-game design ever did. Those were some of the worst designs, and I think we can all agree on that. What do you guys think? Click subscribe, and I'll see you next time.